Good morning. This is Calvin Cox. It is Wednesday morning at 5:23 a.m. and it's March 12th. And what I wanted to talk about was basically, and this is going to be very short, is whole kernel golden corn. Okay? And I'm losing a lot of teeth, so it's hard to chew this. But the last thing I want to eat is called creamed corn, and it's disgusting. I think creamed corn, yuck. When I was a kid, I could eat creamed corn, but I can't now. It's really gross. So, this leaves me with whole kernel golden corn, and what's in here is corn, water, sugar, and salt. But the issue now for me is I've been experimenting with cooking recipes. And, I don't want corn that's pureed. That's too much. That would be kind of yuck. And I don't want to take corn like this and take a fork and mash it, which is what I've done before, and it takes forever. And but mashing it with a fork is just the right consistency of what I'm looking for. And the reason I do that, not only it makes it easier for me to chew, but when you mash the corn, you release more of the flavor, and I think that's really what it is. The flavor comes out more, simply because there's more surface area. And of course, like I said, it's easier to chew. But the thing is, you do not find plain whole kernel golden corn that's mashed in a can for sale in the grocery stores. And I think that that's something that people would really buy quickly, because it's excellent for cooking. And a can of corn added to something that's mashed really adds a really neat background flavor, of course, depending on what you're making. But you never find it that way. I would I would not want corn that's pureed like in a blender, because I think that's just way too fine, and it would be similar perhaps to creamed corn, which I despise. That's really gross. Now, the reason I'm talking corn is because I was experimenting with about 2 years ago with making bean cakes. I would take either pinto beans or red beans like a kidney bean or a white navy bean, and I was mixing different things together, and I came up with a really, really fantastic tasting bean patty recipe, and I saved it, and I have it somewhere, but I forgot where I put it. Anyway, I gotta find it again. I know I have it, but I gotta find it. But these bean cakes were so good, I literally wanted to sit around and sit home all day and just eat them. Make up a huge batch and eat them. They really tasted that good. And the one reason they tasted that good is because I added corn as like a background flavor ingredient that made it just, perfect. And I've noticed corn about a lot of different things. You can add it, but for some reason, you don't want to add corn that has, kernels in it that big. I don't know. It's like a visual consistency thing. In some dishes, you could add corn. You want the background flavor, but you don't really want to see it. And if the dish is like dark, like, a dark bean dish, like a black bean, something like that, the corn won't show. The flavor will be there, but the kernels of corn won't show. And so it's an interesting item to have and have access to, because we eat 3 times a day, at least in this country, most people. And so, food is a big thing. So that's what I'm thinking, whole kernel corn that's simply mashed, like the consistency of a fork, but not pureed and not creamed. Creamed corn is disgusting. I wish they'd just get rid of that. People don't eat that anymore. Ugh. Anyway, just a thought. Actually, they could get into mashing, corn, peas, all the types of vegetable items, because, like I said, cooking's so critical, and so it's necessary for people to get into cooking and to enjoy it and to experiment and to find your own little, tastes and, experiment things with like bean patties or loaves, stuff like that. I was working on experimenting with making a very dense loaf out of different combinations of cream of wheat was one thing that was in there. For instance, when you cook a pan of cream of wheat and it's done and it cools down and solidifies, that's really dense stuff. Well, I was thinking along the line of something like that with cream of wheat and rice and some other ingredients to add a lot of flavor, but very dense. So it's a very compact food, and so it's easy to carry, yet it satisfies and fills your stomach and kind of sticks with you. If you can eat like some little squares that were really flavorful of something, if they're easy to carry, they keep well, and that'd be cool. I like doing stuff like that, but I need the ingredients to experiment. And I don't want to take all day crushing stuff with a fork.